What's up, y'all? I know it's been a while. Had to go through a move. You might see a different commute at some point in the afternoon commute. It'd probably more be an evening commute, but will I change the name? Who knows? Always like to keep you guessing. Never let them know what your next move is after you move and change jobs and commutes. But today I want to talk about. Now I know actually Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals is tonight, but I've been focusing a lot more on the NBA draft, looking at all these prospects, trying to mock where some of these guys are going to land. Not an easy process in the least in terms of trying to figure out, first of all, what teams' needs are, what the fit is with certain guys, and then you consider, well, depending on how the top five goes, that will have, ripple effects throughout the entire rest of the draft. So it's been tough, but I wanted to start at the top because, there's been a lot of discussion about how the top three will go in terms of Jabari Smith Jr., Chet Holmgren, and Paolo Banchero. That seems to be the three in terms of kind of where everyone has that as the top tier. I have yet to see really anyone break that. Jaden Ivey, Shaden Sharp, and I've even seen like AJ Griffin go for. But outside of that, it seems like more or less those are our top three. And obviously, the Orlando Magic sit with the number one spot. Can pretty much take whoever they like. Not even pretty much. They can take whoever they like at the number one. They're currently on the clock. And so, a lot of different opinions out there. It seems like Jabari Smith is the front runner. And I'm here to tell you why that makes the most sense, why I agree with that. For the most part, especially over Chet. And to me, it's more of a fit thing. I think I get drafting best available, drafting most talented, and being like, listen, we'll figure it out. This guy has, incredible talent, incredible skill set, huge upside on either the offense, defensive end, both, whatever the case may be. But I think that is very difficult, especially for a young team like Orlando or OKC or Houston, in terms of having players that understand roles, how they fit within an organization, young coaches. And if I was a GM, I would highly value fit more so than necessarily just raw talent. Because I have more faith that a guy can exceed within a role that makes sense for him than trying to figure out where to place him in something that doesn't necessarily make sense on paper and trying to figure it out, throughout a season or whatever. And especially in the Magic's, kind of where they are in their kind of rebuild. They had a whole decade of mediocrity, coming in like, 7-8 seed in the playoffs, which is fine. But now, after having back-to-back top five picks here with Jalen Suggs last year at 5, and now with the number one pick, we're thinking, they got a young core there. They got Suggs, they got Cole Anthony, they got Franz Wagner, they got Wendell Carter Jr., and, probably going to let Mo Bamba walk from what we can tell. And so that leaves kind of that power forward-ish spot open. If you're looking at the backcourt, they got the two young guys in the backcourt. You got Franz Wagner on the wing. You have Wendell Carter, inside. And so to me, Jabari Smith makes the most sense as a guy. He can shoot from the perimeter. He can defend on the perimeter. He's got extreme length, something that the Magic front office seems to value quite a bit based on their previous draft selections. Speaking of which, Jonathan Isaac, we have no idea what kind of, player he's going to be coming into the season after tearing his ACL in the bubble, a long recovery. No idea what he's going to look like. Jabari Smith is definitely insurance for him. And then you have, Markelle Fultz coming in. So it's really that 4 spot for me that I would want to fill. And as kind of intriguing as Chet is, I think he's definitely maybe, high ceiling, low basement guy. Obviously, there are concerns about his frame, whether he can defend bigs. But if I'm the Magic, I know Wendell can defend bigs, so I'm more looking for a guy who can be a front court kind of partner for Wendell. And I don't see the fit. I've heard people say like Chet could work. I know he can shoot on the perimeter, but defensively it's a little weird, especially when you look at these playoffs and really no team is playing two bigs outside of the Celtics with Rob Will and Al Horford, but that's a very specific kind of defense that they run. And those guys aren't, like these 7-footers that, I would trust Al Horford on the perimeter probably more than Wendell or Chet. So I don't see the fit as much if the Magic wanted to go there. I would even argue probably Paolo would make more sense than Chet for the Magic in terms he could also fill that spot, very gifted offensively. And, maybe the defense would get there. I think the Magic in general are kind of a defensive-minded team with that starting lineup that they put out there this year. I think they kind of play at a slower rate, so, the points that they allow are usually pretty low relative to most of the league. And when you think about the kind of length they could put on the floor, if you had Markelle, Franz Wagner, Jonathan Isaac, and you throw in Jabari with Wendell Carter, that is going to give opposing offenses headaches for a long time to come, as long as everyone stays healthy, which is obviously a big if, especially with Markelle and Jonathan Isaac. So you imagine Jabari's the safer bet. Jabari's the guy who will, year one, be a contributor, be a starter. And Chet probably will be too. It's just a matter of, I think, he's going to be harder to fit in. And so personally, I would take the forward out of Auburn, Jabari Smith, if I'm the Orlando Magic. But tell me how you feel. Obviously, there's a lot of difference of opinion on this and how the top three will go down in general and how really the whole draft is going to kind of unfold. I think there will be a lot of surprises. I don't know if it will come top three. I think the most common's been Jabari, Chet, Paolo. But, Sam Presti's known to surprise. Orlando's done some funky things as well. So we never know. But for me, it's Jabari. Let me know who it is for you. Take care of yourselves. What did I used to say? Take it easy. Have a good one. No, it was take it easy. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you next time.